what's up? How's it going? I hope that everyone is doing well. In today's video, we're going to be shopping my stash. So going through everything that was in it before, deciding if I'm gonna keep it in, rotate it out, and then once we have that honed down, we're gonna go into my collection and we're gonna shop for some new products to rotate into my makeup basket that I want to get some use out of over the next 3 to 4 weeks. If you like these kind of videos, I will leave the playlist below so that you can watch more if you're wanting something to do after this video. And yeah, let's go ahead and just jump on in. Okay, here she is, and I'm ready to switch some stuff out. We've got a barista basket, as we usually do. I think most of this was here when I saw you guys last. Some of it might be new to the basket that I rotated in because I got it for review or PR or whatever. So yeah, anyways, let's just jump on in. Powders are gonna stay. I rotated this RMS Beauty bronzer in because it's on sale for 21 Days of Beauty and I freaking love it. So I rotated it in so I could showcase it a little bit on my Instagram stories if people were curious. Fabulous, love it. If you want to check it out, I'll also leave the link below because when this goes up is the day that this is half off. So yeah, absolutely love this. I know it looks shimmery, but on the cheek, I don't really feel like it looks super like glittery. I feel like it gives a really just pretty glowy sheen. It's stunning. And you guys know that I'm a cream girly, but I love this. So yeah, but I am going to rotate it out because I've been using it a lot. I also had the Nicole Cosmetics in the shade Ethereal in. I did use this, so I'm going to rotate it out. I also had in my Merit Cream Shadow in the shade Mid-Century. I freaking love this. And I'm gonna leave it in. I didn't use it as much as I have been, but that's because I've been testing all my eyeshadow palettes. So it's kind of been pushing me to use the eyeshadow palettes over my singles. But I want to keep this in just because it's like a really good staple for me to have readily available because I do use a lot of my singles. Then I had this Kaja Beauty Bento stack. They're at Ulta now. I got this in exchange for a review. I had the shade Sugar Cookie, which is the lightest one. The cream bronzer is a really beautiful formula. However, it's a little bit light for me right now, but I think once we get into winter, it's going to be perfect. The freaking highlighter in here is stunning. It is so sparkly. I love it. And then I surprisingly really loved the blush in here. It looks light and I was honestly worried that it wasn't gonna match with my skin tone very well. Like I wouldn't be able to see it, but it actually gives the most beautiful warm, I want to say terracotta, but it's not terracotta. It's like very, like I don't know how to explain it, but oh my god, it is so pretty. I will say though, the mirror in mine came completely popped off, so a little quality control needs to happen here, but the formulas within are really good. But I am going to rotate it out. I also recently got, with points, the new, oh, I shouldn't dump it like that, the new Half Magic Glitter Puck. This one's in the shade Glimmer Pop, and oh my girl, she is that biatch. I'm going to keep this in. I used it like twice, but that is not enough. I want to use it more because it is truly so stunning, so I'm going to leave it in. I'm also going to leave in my lip oil. I always have one of these on my desk, and look how close it is to gone, you guys. Like, I'm hoping within like 2 weeks it'll be gone. I use these pretty much every morning while I'm doing my makeup. And then I had left in the Sugar Lip Treat Oil from Fresh. This is stunning. It's a shade Berry, and it gives like the most yummy tint to the lips, and it is so hydrating. Prior to this, I think the Milani one was definitely my favorite lip oil, but if you're down to spend a little more, I think the Fresh one is better. And that is the first time I've tried a lip oil that has beaten out the Milani one, so Yeah, this is just so stinking good. I am going to rotate it out though because I keep getting tempted to use this one when I really need to use this because it is so close to empty. So I'm going to rotate it out. I also had in the 2 Color Fix sticks. These are not from the same duo. One's from Duo 7, one's from Duo 8. These are just really beautiful toppers, which, so she said in a recent video that like, you don't have to keep these caps on, but in the pamphlet that I got talking about them that I had to review, it said to leave them on. But Danessa said we don't have to, so I'm going to go ahead and take them off because they're a pain in the ass. But I am going to rotate these out because over the past like month or so since I got them, I have used them a lot. So I want to use some different stuff. This is my panning concealer, so we're gonna leave it in. I have this up here as well. It's the, I think this one is a new flavor of the Fruit Fetish from Milani and Hot Cocoa. My friend Steph got a big PR package and she was generous enough to give me some of the lip oils that she didn't like the flavors in. In this, I know you guys can't smell it, but I'm gonna smell it. Smells, oh, just like delicious chocolate. It smells so good, and I want to leave it in because we're rolling into fall. So I want to have like some warm combinations on hand. Speaking of that, I'm keeping in my ABH Taupe Beige lipstick. I actually lost this for like a week, but thankfully I found it. So I'm going to keep that in. And then I have this new Kulfi. This is their Lip Snack Glossing Lip Balm in the shade Black Forest. I have only had this for like 2 days, so I don't have like my full review on it. But first impressions are really good. It gives a beautiful light tint and it seems to be very hydrating. I will circle back to it at least by the next time I see you guys to let you know because it'll still be in here. But I am really enjoying it so far and I'm going to keep it in. I've also been testing the new Valentino spiked lip balms. I have 3, but this is the shade I've just been dying over. It is 199A and oh my gosh, you guys. Like, I know you're like, whatever, but this looks so good on my lips. Something about the purple with my skin tone, slapping. So I'm going to leave this in, 1, because I need to still film content with it and I don't want to forget. But 2, I am really enjoying these. Okay, next up I have 2 products here. I have the Danessa Myricks Color Fix Foils in the shade Jewels. This is my favorite one, which is why I rotated it in, and still haven't used it. So I'm gonna let her stay one more round, and my goal is gonna be to use her before I see you guys next. And then I have the Hourglass Vanish Lip Plumper in the shade Trace in here. I rolled this into my project pan during my last update and I have not touched it since. So it needs to stay because yeah, I need to get going on that. All right, let's work from here over. I had this beautiful Fenty Beauty highlighter in the shade Lavender Lover. It's the new one and it is stunning. It gives a beautiful purpley hue that lasts all day and it's super sparkly. Love this. I rotated in to get a feel for it and yeah, love it. I'm gonna rotate it out though. I also have the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Face Base. This is like a little travel size. It's in my project pan, so it's gonna stay. I also am currently panning the Clinique Even Better Foundation. I have the shade CN18. This is a summer shade for me, and so I am using this pretty much exclusively right now because I don't want to have this by next summer because I just don't think it'll be good anymore. So this is going to stay in as a primary focus. I also had the Huda Beauty Watermelon Pop in. I love these blush filters. I even reached into my blush drawer and I used, what's the other shade I used? I used this one, which is Strawberry Cream. I love these. They're so good. I am going to rotate it out though. Then of course we have my Huda Beauty corrector. This is getting so close. It's like down, you can see it's like down to here. So we're getting close to emptying it, but I would say I still have probably like a solid 3 months. I have emptied one of these before, and I felt like the last of it is what truly lasted the longest. It was insane. So it'll still probably be around for a while. And then I also had the RMS Beauty blush in the shade Maidens blush. And I rotated this in because I was like, maybe I want to declutter it, because I didn't really think I liked the shade on me previously. I felt like it was too deep potentially, but I wore this multiple times throughout this like past couple weeks, and this was stunning. I loved the shade on me, especially brought up into the like crease of the eye. So I think maybe it's just one of those where it looks better on me when I have a little bit of a tan. So I'm gonna definitely keep it, but I'm gonna rotate it out. I also had the Fenty Beauty Diamond Balm in the shade Rose Rave. I do like having a pinkier highlight in my basket most times. So rotated this in, enjoyed it, gonna rotate it out. And then of course my Chanel bronzer, that's gonna stay in. And then I also had my Dior Backstage in the shade Glitz. These are just so stunning, you guys. I honestly might just keep this in. I should rotate it out. I should. So I'm going to rotate it out. And then I have the Ace Beauté little custom quad that I made here. And it has like, these two are painting products. And this is just a custom that I put in there to round it out a little bit. It's a blush. It's absolutely stunning. So I am going to keep this out as well. Okay, next up we have the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion. I have used this a handful of times. I do think I'm going to rotate it out though, because I really want to try and finish this. We're getting to that point in the year where I'm really trying to hone in on what I can realistically finish by the end of the year. So I really want to make sure I'm working on this. And then I also really want to make sure I'm working on my Dior filter when I rotate that back in, which will honestly probably be in like October. So I'm going to rotate this out so we can just focus on what I think I'm going to be able to finish. Same being said for an Natasha Denona Glam Face palette in the shade Light. I have used this so much this year. And while the blush is still in my project pan, I really just think I want to hone in and focus on this Milk Makeup one, because I think I can realistically finish this by the end of the year. And if I do finish it, then I'll bring this one back in. But for now, I kind of just want to give it a break. So I'm going to rotate it out. I'm also going to rotate out the Twilight Collection New Moon from ColourPop. I did my 4 looks with this, and the testing all my eyeshadow palettes update 1 will be up next week. So I have tested this, I've done my looks with it, I have my thoughts, so I'm going to rotate it out. Same goes for the ABH Primrose palette. I've done multiple looks with this, I have my thoughts, so I'm also going to rotate that out. And then I have my Huda Beauty Easy Bake setting spray in right now. I'm gonna leave this in. I recently had to declutter the Milk Makeup one that was in here because the nozzle quit working. So I think that I might rotate in another one to go with this, but we'll see. But this one's gonna stay for now. And then as you guys know, I keep all my lip liners here. And then all of my larger eyeshadow sticks will be staying up and in here. I did also have the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer in the shade 2 in rotated in. This was a bit light for me right now, so I am going to also rotate this out. So I think I'm going to just keep in the Armani one. Okay, last thing I want to look through is my work bag. There are some products in here that I keep and I take to work with me. The first one is the Huda Beauty Mini of the Easy Bake Setting Powder and Pound Cake. That's going to stay in here. Need it. And then also the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Setting Mist. I have the mini. So I'm going to leave that in here. I've been using the Kofi Double Serum or Double Life Serum Primer, and I really like that. I'm going to keep it in there. I also think I'm going to keep this in. I would love if I could take this to work and use it, but I just don't want to bring a sponge to work. And this is more coverage than I like to apply with a brush. So I think I will leave this in as well, the Hourglass Skin Tint. And then I have the Milk Makeup, which one? Kush Mascara. This has been okay. I'm not blown away by it, but it's usable, so I'll keep it in there, but I definitely would not recommend it. And then, oh yes, here we go. Okay, the ABH Brow Gel, leaving that in. It's a cute little mini. And then I also got the mini of the Huda Beauty Concealer in the shade Coconut Flakes. And I'm going to keep this one in. One, it's a good shade for me right now. And two, it's small, so lighter weight, which love. And then I had the Half Magic Sparkle Crayon in the shade Princess Teddy. And I think, I don't know, I'm going to say we're going to rotate it out, but depending on what I decide to put back in here, it might come back. We'll see. And then I had the ColourPop Super Shock in the shade Ritz, which I actually hit pan on. Beautiful. This combo was just amazing. I really, really enjoyed that combination. So I think I'm going to rotate those out, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. And then the last product I had in here is the Auric Face Palette in the shade Daybreak. I got this from a friend, like heavily discounted, and I've been testing it out. And I will say, I do think the formula is very sheer but buildable. It is, I feel like it dries down more matte because it does bring a certain like flatness to my face. It doesn't make it look juicy or plump it up. I am going to try mixing this with this. This just feels so like gooey. It's very interesting. But yeah, so I don't really have like my thoughts on this per se, but I will say that the packaging is the most luxurious packaging I have ever felt in my life. It is weighted, it is high quality, it is just stunning. So love that about it. I do think I'll rotate this out though, because I think I'm going to put my painting palette back in my bag. So yeah, I'm going to rotate this out. And with that being said, let's shop my stash to refill my bag and to refill my vanity holder basket thing. Okay, so here we have the top drawer. I'm not going to rotate in any other foundations in because I really want to hone in on the Clinique one and hopefully finish it. I already have 2 concealers in, so we're not going to rotate anything in there. I do think I am going to rotate in the Vegan Collagen Hydrating Setting Mist. I put this away because we're in summer and I produce more natural hydration during this time of that time of the year. But now that it's cooling down, I think it's safe to pull this one out. And then let's see here. As far as primers, I have that Bobbi Brown one I'm focusing on, and I'm not quite ready to pull out the Dior one yet, so we're not going to pick any more primers. I do want to look at some singles. I really want to test the Charlotte Tilbury Pop Shot and Diamond Eyes to see if I feel like it's something I could pass along or if it's stand out enough to hang on to. So I'm going to rotate that in. I also want to reach for, I haven't rotated these in a while. My Kofi singles, I want to rotate in the shade Bronze Brocade. I absolutely adore this one. And then Sona Sona, which is so pretty and so sparkly. I love it. If you guys don't know, I actually have a 10% off code with Kulfi. It's linked in my link tree down below, so just FYI. But I am going to rotate these two in. And then I don't think anything else is on the chopping block in here. So yeah, I think we're good in this drawer. Okay, bronzers. I really want to focus on my panning ones, so I'm not going to rotate any bronzers in, but maybe rotate one of these in. The highlighters in here are so gorgeous. Like, they're my favorite. I was thinking about rotating this in because it's getting pretty old, just to like check in on it. You know. Let's see what we have. One panning blush in right now, and that's it. So we do have some room to work. So I think I will rotate this in because then we'll have some highlighter options as well. I love this highlighter. I think it's stunning. So we're going to rotate this in. All right, blushes. I've been thinking about this one. It's the It Cosmetics Sun Blush in the shade Sun Warmth. This is so warm and yummy and gorgeous. So I think that I want to pull this out and yeah, get some use out of this kind of a shade. Yes. It's that time of year where I'm enjoying something a little bit warmer. And then I think I want to pull out this shade from the Huda blush filter, Black Cherry. This, I mean, if you guys saw my latest declutter, if you haven't, I'll link it below. But I really went through and got rid of things that I did not think I would use due to like shade, formula, whatever. This is one I was on the fence about because, I mean, I've used it and it is so pretty. But I'm like, am I going to reach for it? So I want to pull it out and put it in my basket and see kind of where we get with that. My Shop My Stashes for the remainder of the year are probably going to be kind of heavily focused on trying some things that I'm on the fence about because I want to do one big final declutter like in December and really just tighten up my collection for my end of the year inventory numbers. So yeah, I'm going to pull this one out. I also, let's see here. I think I'm going to pull out this red blush. I don't think that I would get rid of it because it's like the only red one I have. But it's not really one I reach for because it is a little bit intimidating. So I'm going to pull this out and see how it goes. I know that I easily use and love these. This Milani one is brighter than I usually go for, but it is a really, really beautiful shade. Maybe I'm gonna pull this one out too. And here's the thing, if we don't use it all this time, then I can keep it in for another rotation and use it then. If you're new here, I typically update these videos every 3 to 4 weeks, so I do have time to really work with these products. So I am gonna rotate this in. And I think the only other thing I was even kind of on the fence about was the Lawless one because it was so peachy, like, and I don't usually use peachy colors. Okay, so we're not going to rotate in the Lawless one this time, but I think, well, maybe we will, because this could be potentially a nice shade for this time of year. So we went from having like one blush in to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this, and then I think once I work through using these, I'll have an idea of any other ones I'm kind of on the fence about because everything else I feel pretty solid in. This one is kind of bright, but I remember liking it. You know what? We'll test this one too. We're gonna just rotate it all in, I guess. But that is it from this drawer. You might be thinking, what the hell happened here? Because I just had this so narrowed down. But then I just happened to get some PR stuff, and I got some lippies for my birthday. If you don't know, my birthday was in August. So I got some products for my birthday, and right now out on my vanity, we do have quite a few lippies going. I just wanted to show you. So these are all the lippies we currently have going on my vanity. So like, I do have a lot. There is plenty to pick from. I did use some of these, even though they weren't out there. Like I used this one from Milani. I used this gloss a couple times. And then I also used this Makeup by Mario lippy as well. So I did reach in here and use some of these. Oh yeah, I used this Lawless gloss too. I used my Prada lipstick. I reached in here and I used some of this shit. Right now, I feel like my goal should be to pull out some of the shades that I'm like, oh, these are really good for fall. I should reach for these for fall, to see if I still reach for them actually when it's fall. The first one I'm thinking of is this one from ABH. It's in the shade Sunbaked, and I haven't really worn it since I got it. So I need to pull this out and see if it's something I'm even gonna use, or if I need to just pass it along. Let's see. I think, which one? Twig Twist. I think this was the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think I'm gonna pull out Twig Twist to have like a mauve-y option. So we have a lot of browns right now, which is like fine, but, and then yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna pull out of here, because we have plenty of options, and I think we have a really wide range. Like that's the Sunbaked shade. This is the Taupe Beige. See, it's just such an easy shade. That's why I wear it a lot. And then we have the multitude of lip gloss and oils. So I think this is like a super solid selection. So I'm going to stick with this, and hopefully we can get some use, so that next time I'm wanting to try these, my friend gave them to me. So, and I haven't even tried these, or I just recently saw them on Jen Love's channel, and she was talking highly of them. So I really want to give some of these a go. So I'm looking to get some use out of those others, so that when we come back, we can switch in some of the newer stuff. All right, next up is highlighters, and we have a couple in that face palette that I pulled out, but I think I want to reach for one of these, because I haven't pulled these out in a while, and I loved them when I first got them. So I would love to revisit. I'm going to pull out shade 2 since I still have quite a bit of a tan. I think that this would be a good shade to pull out right now. So I'm going to rotate this in. Then honestly, I think that's all for right now, because my basket is popping with blushes I want to test. So hopefully once we rotate out and make our decision about some of the blushes, we can expand to doing that with this category. Now I am going to be rotating in some palettes, because we're moving into the next phase of the Testing My Palette series. So I'm going to be pulling out my Tom Ford palettes. I have Body Heat, which is stunning, but she's no longer available, which is honestly a shame. This color story is stunning, so I'm going to be pulling this one out. I'm also going to be pulling out the Honeymoon palette. This is the Valentine's Day edition, stunning, so that's going to be in rotation. And then the last tea palette is going to be from Too Faced, and it is the Pumpkin Spice palette. So pretty, definitely perfect. I love pulling this out this time of year. I really wish they would re-release this so we could all get fresh ones, because this is just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. So yeah, gonna rotate this in, and then I think that is all. So let's go up back to my vanity and let's pack it. Okay, so this is what's all gonna be in the vanity. I just want to pack the work makeup bag real quick. We're gonna put the quad in here. So we have our blush, our bronzer, and then we have, let's see, primer, foundation, concealer, setting, mascara, setting, and then we just need to pick a couple of singles that would be good in this. I just like taking sticks when I take this, really. It's just so much easier, in my opinion. So let's take, Beige Mystique is pretty. Really nice all over the lid color from Half Magic. And then we'll pull this Princess Teddy back out. I love this. It makes like a really great outer corner or wing. That's how I use it a lot. So I think I want to do that. And then the work bag is packed for when I need to use that. Oh, another thing I forgot. I got some new products from Ilia in a little offer that Ulta does. And this is the liquid powder chromatic eye tint. So I want to try this. So I'm going to rotate that in. And then I'm just going to put this with the rest of my lip liners. This mascara will go in like my replacements bin. And then this blush right here looks really cute, but we have a lot of blush right now. So I'm going to save this for next time. But yeah, this is what it's looking like. I'm honestly really surprised that I was able to fit everything in here, because when I was pulling stuff out, guys, I was like, man, I do not think it's going to fit. But I think because we got rid of some of like the bulkier items, we were able to fit some different stuff in and really set this up. So definitely have a lot to work with over the next 3 to 4 weeks. And if there is a product too that I decide, yeah, I'm going to probably declutter this, then I'll take it out and like set it to the side. But we can chat about that when it comes back around. But it'll just be like, you know, taking up less space kind of thing. But yeah, that is all for today's video. If you guys like these kinds of videos, be sure to subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. And yeah, I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Bye.